So I'm here in Japan in Kamakura with Yui, and we're going to ask a few questions about her experience with foreigners in Japan. And it's a little bit crowded we're like crossing a little intersection here. So Yui has volunteered to answer some questions about what it's like for her in Japan as far as all the foreigners that are coming to Japan right now, because there's almost 40 million foreigners who came to Japan last year in 2024, and like over 4 million in January of this year. So it's a big deal. Japan is being flooded, partly because of the yen. You get like almost 150 yen to the dollar right now. So I wanted to know, Yui, like, what is your experience just in general of foreigners coming to Japan, and what it's like, what your experience is, how you feel, what you think like the Japanese people think about this, and also what you think about it personally, with all these foreigners coming to Japan right now.
So first, in general, like we think about, like, we are very welcome. Like, it's a good thing. Like, after COVID-19, our economy or like anything is going down, and then now like we can travel all over the world, and then we have lots of tourists. So that's a good thing, and we are glad, and we are always welcomed. But at the same time, like Japanese custom is a little bit strict, or like we have completely different cultures from Western culture. Then like our personality or our habits are very different. So sometimes like we are irritated, like maybe like the foreigners are loud or rude or like something like that.
Yeah.
Like, since we don't have a garbage can on the street.
Yeah.
Like they put on like just right there, or like they're talking very loud on the train.
Right.
And then they don't know the rules.
Different cultural habits.
So like at like the part we're, how can I say, like we have a little bit bad expectation for them. But in my opinion, now I think since I've been to the United States. Like it was really amazing experience for me. And then also Japan is like island country, so we live in Japan only like Japanese people here. So I thought like we need more cultural exchanges. Like we don't know about the world. And then now like the population is going down, and we have lots of like older people here. And we need laborers. So I think governments need more policies open for like foreigners, and then we need more laborers. And also for like in general, we need more knowledges for the world. Like more communicating skill as well. Like we need to. Japan is too strict. Too strict, too polite. And then we don't have enough communication skills, or more like heartfelt, like emotions as well. So that is my opinion.
Do you think that the Japanese government will allow more foreigners to move to Japan? Because there's a problem with the rural areas are losing population, and there's not enough children being born, and so like the population of Japan may go down in the future.
I think they do.
And would it be a good idea if that happened? Like if the Japanese government,
of course.
If they let more foreigners move here, you think that would be good?
Like now the government says our target is 60 million, right?
60 million tourists. Yeah, they want to have 60 million tourists.
2030, right?
I think so. 2030. Yeah, so that's a lot of foreigners. Like if they let that many foreigners, like 60 million foreigners, that would be about a 50% increase from what it is right now. And right now, the country is being flooded by foreigners, with almost 40 million
That's
coming
right.
last year. So, but I mean, those 40 million are really tourists, and the idea of tourists, like I'm wondering, the impact of tourism, both positive and negative. But the other aspect is that if they allow people to actually move here and live here long term, like that would create its own issues, right? Positive and negative, right?
Okay, so I've got the point, and so now, we have lots of tourists here, but like they're coming to Tokyo or Kyoto, like just famous
Right.
spots, right?
Okay.
And then so that's why the city is very packed
Yeah.
and they're always busy.
Yeah.
But I think it's also a good thing for for them to know about Japan. The
Right.
first step.
Right.
And then I think it's very convenient and good place to live. But at the same time as well, so I've got lots of like foreign friends from like other countries,
Right.
and then I'm always hearing their opinion, and then they said, so since like this Japan is island country,
Right.
and then like they are welcomed in external, like at the first step,
Right.
but like also they feel they feel very lonely because we are, how can I say, we can be kind or we can be nice to them at first, but like it's not gonna be last. Like,
Oh.
do you know what I mean?
So
Like,
in other
how
words,
can I
like
say?
foreigners who live in Japan, they're never going to be totally integrated into the culture here because they're not Japanese? Is that?
Yeah, they are always saying like, and then I can get it. Like, it's very difficult, but like,
So another, like what I've heard about like foreigners who live in Japan is that they love the country, they love the people, but because they're foreigners, there's this barrier between them and the Japanese people.
That's what I wanted to
Yeah,
say.
and they can never feel totally connected
Yes, yes, yes.
because
That's
they
the
are
point.
they're foreigners, they're not Japanese.
That's right.
And they want to connect and they want to be a part of it and they love it for so many reasons, but it's never quite the same thing
Yes.
just because they aren't
My
Japanese.
friends are also saying that.
Okay, and what countries are your friends from that say that?
United States.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then they say, like they want to live in Japan, and then now they live in Japan.
Right.
But like they struggle with like, they can be accepted like
Right.
perfect.
Right,
To be like
right.
perfectly. So, like he said, like he isn't sure if he live in like Japan forever or not. Like,
Okay, okay. He's not sure it's his forever home.
yeah. They say that. So
Yeah.
I think that's the point. But I think it can happen like in every country. If I move to like other countries,
Uh-huh.
I think I've been feeling like, I would feel like I am a visitor or I am a little bit different.
Sure, sure. And I think that's true for people like foreign nationals, or some people call them expats. They go to other countries and they have various levels of integration or acceptance into the culture.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Japan has particular challenges with that because of the nature of the culture here, and that it's I think the word is insular, or it's like, the Japanese country is tight, and the identification as a Japanese person is very strong, and the allowance of foreigners past that sort of wall is particularly challenging for Japan, from what I understand.
I see.
Do you think that might be true?
Yeah, I think I can say that. And then also I think this is our fault. Like, but this is this is our fault. Our problem it is.
So when you say, oh, you mean that you're responsible? It's not the foreigners'
Foreigners-
responsibility.
No,
it's,
no.
It's the nature of the culture here. Okay.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else that you would share, like as foreigners who want to come experience Japan, or as a tourist, or if they want to, say, move to Japan and live here long term, like what would be your advice to somebody who wants to come here and maybe they're concerned, will they be accepted, and will they be able to integrate, and will they be comfortable? What would you say to people who are thinking about wanting to come here?
I think so. First, it's very important to know about the culture and history.
Yeah.
And the habits, like, we are clean and bright, so we have common sense, lots of common sense.
Right.
So I think that's very good to know, and it's very important to know before you come in. And
So how do you mean by that, like common sense?
common sense, like
You mean like, what does that mean to you?
like we keep quiet when we're on the train.
Okay.
Or like this, we walk like left side. Or
So very, very conscientious of others and of your surroundings, and very polite and accommodating. So it's important that people understand those norms and those habits, so that as an American you don't come here and kind of talk loud on the train, or like when we were walking up in our Airbnb, we were having a normal conversation by American standards, but it may have been loud by the people living inside the apartments that we were walking by. And so we have to remember, like, they don't do that in Japan. They think about others, and they're conscientious and courteous, and to understand those values and those habits is important if you're going to come here. Would you agree with that?
yeah. And also, but I think you can be yourself.
Yeah.
And you can be very open, like as they were in your home country.
Right.
And then I think it's the first step. They can share. No, you can share
Right.
your culture first,
Right.
and then like we will notice, because we don't know, we've never like touched different culture.
Yeah.
We have less opportunities.
Got you.
And
So-
then like we will accept it.
Yeah. So the Japanese people have a lot to learn from foreigners. So the influence of foreigners here, whether it's tourism or people who actually live here, is positive for Japan, because it opens your eyes to the rest of the world,
totally.
and how other people do things. Okay. Well, thank you. And any final words of anything that we haven't talked about, or that you think would be helpful for the audience to know?
Audience. I would say, so just remember how to say hello and thank you.
Hello and thank you. And how do you say hello and thank you in Japanese?
Hello, it's konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
And then thank you is arigato.
Arigato. And you say arigato gozima, right? You don't say just arigato because it's informal. Is that correct?
Informal, yeah.
So if you're in a restaurant or see somebody in a store, you want to say arigato gozima.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Oh, gozaimasu. Okay. And then once again, what was hello?
Konnichiwa.
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 Okay. So, well, thank you for being willing to answer some questions. I really appreciate it. Maybe maybe I'll see you back in the United States.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. I would love
Okay,
to.
cool. So thank you, and if you like this video, please be sure to hit the like button, and if you could subscribe, it would really be awesome. It would get this out to more people. So thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.